Welcome, internet users, to Stego Wow's review of Foundation, Episode 1. This episode will contain nothing but spoilers. If you don't want it spoiled, turn this off and come back when you're ready.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, do that.
And then come back for Episode 2.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Episode 1, The Emperor's Peace.
The Emperor's Peas.
That's a different story.
Do you remember the intro? Like the opening credits?
No.
I loved them because I personally cannot get enough glitter. And it was just glitter explosion after glitter explosion.
Right.
A head made of glitter that then explodes.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I thought it was a very bold choice. Thought it was a very strange choice. More glitter, please. And then we zoom in on a solitary personal craft. I couldn't get enough of a lot of this scenery.
Yeah, a lot of these
the
shots.
Exterior shots. Synax specifically, I was like bummed we left Synax.
Yeah, we start on Terminus.
Yeah, on Terminus.
Mm-hmm.
And kids dare each other to get close to the vault.
Don't forget the meerkat iguanas.
I did forget the meerkat iguanas.
Yeah.
That's a good...
You just take two things and you mush them together.
Yeah,
Space.
That's the future.
Future space.
Future space. I wrote on my notes, those flags are so cool. I guess, yeah, they were neat because they were all different kinds and they're all frayed and they're shown with the vault. Those flags were dark and messed up and I changed my mind.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I wanted to own that I wrote it down.
I agree with you when you first said it, though. You're right. Like, conceptually and visually, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's also got that, like old school 80s movies, like kids exploring, you know.
It did have that vibe.
Taking like going on adventures, taking risks kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Each flag is somewhat different. You're right. It's framed much
kids
differently
egging each
later.
Other on. Yeah, so maybe in retrospect, a little less cool.
Yeah.
But still a really good storytelling mechanism. Can you just embrace the field? Can you like mind over matter it? But it was later kind of shown no.
Yeah, I feel like that might come back later.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know much about the warden.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, like maybe it's a mental fortitude kind of a thing.
Maybe it's,
you know, who knows?
Maybe it's a plant. You just got to eat the right plants.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm pretty sure that's how most things work.
It's like, that's Harry Potter. You just eat a weed and all of a sudden you can you can just walk straight into the thing.
Vaulty weed.
Yeah. Vaulty weed. Synax.
Our girl Gail is on Synax.
Mm-hmm.
And she is some kind of freak. But I don't know why everyone is staring at her. She's like unclean.
It's gotta be like she's probably the first person to go off world in a long time, right?
It's a good guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we want to... I mean, well, we can say right now, Synax has completely rejected technology. So she's probably the first person to leave in, I don't know, generations.
I would say not just technology, but also academia.
Right, yes.
Intellect is not cool there.
Yeah.
But, the vibe is not like, oh, man, the nerdy girl's out. The vibe is like, the witch has escaped her tower.
I guess it would appear that way if you were in a...
Yeah, no, probably. I'm saying I thought it was a quite impactful scene.
It's a good...
I wasn't like, oh, it's Belle in the small French town.
Yeah.
They were like, burn the witch. It helps understand why she's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to have a very good connection with both of her parents. She's not running away from family. She's running away from that society or towards.
Right, I would say towards.
The intellect
Yeah.
of one Harry Seldon, the universe's foremost mathematician.
Before we move from Synax, if you don't mind.
Oh my, okay.
I'm dying to talk about this. There's suits. They're like attire that everybody seems to be wearing.
On Synax.
Very much seaweed. It just screams seaweed. And it's all I could think about that whole scene. I was like, they make their clothes out of seaweed. And somehow the costume designer for this show captured that and made it very clear that they make their clothes out of seaweed, and it looks great.
Like Mighty Boosh style seaweed.
I'm old Gail. This is a watercolor of my math. Close as you can get without getting your eyes
Just
wet.
as close to numbers as you could get without getting your eyeballs poked.
Closest to numbers you can get.
I call that one old Greg.
That's it.
Hey.
Let's just end it there. That is a
Guys,
great
thanks
review
for watching.
of episode 1. We didn't make it past the first 5 minutes of the show.
I got some more. I got these.
Oh my god.
Math is more than numbers.
Yeah, there's more than numbers.
Always.
That's right.
Always is.
Old
Always
Gail
has
knows
been.
all about it. Okay, sorry. All right.
Okay, I like that. I like that attention to detail.
I did too.
Are you ready to get on the ship and leave Synac
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
The Imperial jump ship.
to go to another planet?
Right.
Where are we going, babe?
Trantor. The Eye of the Empire.
Thank you. That is what I was looking for.
Yes.
The Eye of the Empire. So small town girl going to the big city.
The Imperium.
The eyeball.
Ooh. Spooky. She's excited though, right?
Yeah. Gerald's just there to help her navigate this big weird ship.
Gerald's very inquisitive right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like kind of in a weird way, right? Were you like, man, Gerald.
Yeah, he definitely could have been like a real creeper. He could have been attempting to traffic that young lady with the amount of interest that he showed in her.
I wasn't going that far, but I mean,
Or
it was
he could
odd.
have just been like that weird guy on the block who's just like a little too friendly and like makes conversation a little too long. So yeah, he could have been anywhere. But he wasn't just like oh, hey, you dropped this, bye.
I mean, maybe it's, any time you get on an Imperial jump ship, it's just like a city bus. Like you're at risk of a stranger's conversation.
That mesh. So when they're in the ship.
I'm glad you mentioned the mesh. What a cool depiction of hypersleep.
Do you think it's creepy or comforting?
Oh my God. I bet it feels so good.
I bet now that I'm thinking about it more, I bet it's a personal thing. It's like a weighted blanket. Some people are like, oh yeah. And some people are like, get this thing off me.
Oh no, it's form fitting. I bet it feels incredible.
Man. Okay. There's your answer.
I thought it was such a cool, this is the thing. We watch a lot of sci-fi and, you see the same tropes over and over.
Yeah.
Ray guns and warp drives and photon torpedoes and whatever it is,
Jeffrey's tubes.
Yeah. It's cool to see a new depiction of something that we're all familiar with at this point, right?
Yes, agreed. 100%.
Putting humans in stasis. It's not a pod. Like we've been seeing pods in some fashion forever, for as long as they've been making
It's
space
always
movies.
a pod.
It's always a pod.
Why are there windows on the stasis pods? Because she wakes up during the jump. She sees the things. Right. And that is apparently a big deal, right?
Yeah. There's caretakers on the ship that make sure you don't wake up, and they put her back in. It comes up again later, like, we know you woke up.
Right. But the fact that Gerald brings it up like days later made me wonder, like, why is that such a big deal? Do we know? Do we not? Is that like a mystery?
It's still a mystery, but I mean, when it happened, I definitely was like, oh, okay, there's going to be something about that later.
Like finding out Harry's a parcel tongue.
Yeah.
Synax seems to be a big deal. Everyone's like, oh, you're from Synax? Because, like you said, they have no technology. They don't travel to other planets.
Yeah.
So the only way you would meet someone is to go there.
Yeah. I don't imagine they're like very kind to visitors either.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No.
But it makes the whole situation just strange then. Like, how did she learn all the things? And like, how did the knowledge of the Harry's contest even reach that planet? But whatever. Those are all just logistic things.
She bought a chocolate bar. And the rules were written on the wrapper. The inside wrapper.
Was Gerald on Synax, like around each corner?
Bars.
Each corner, like, if you get into Harry's contest and he gives you the cube of the, what's it called? The paradigm of Abraxas, and you give it to me, I will pay you millions of Quinpoos. Oh wait, I want to talk about the ship's hyperdrive thing.
Oh, go right ahead.
Another great new depiction of faster than light travel. The center of the ship has a hole in it, and the way it's depicted in the show is it looks as if it's creating a black hole. It's bending light around it to travel to another point in space.
Yes.
Which, like, visually is just so cool. Now that Interstellar has kind of set the precedent for what a black hole is supposed to look like, it's just cool to, like, see that new idea incorporated into sci-fi.
I agree.
Yeah. They didn't, like, do a light trail like they usually do, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's going to lead me to a good tie-in here.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
Land on Trantor.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. We got to land.
We're
we got
on
to
Trantor.
touch down, okay?
We made Rach. Roach?
So, Rach is one
Okay.
of Harry's go-to guys.
Yeah.
And he picks her up and he's kind of showing her around.
I'm calling him Dime Store Marlon Wayans.
Yes, because that is who it is. No offense.
No, he's, yeah.
But,
I've seen him in a couple other things.
yeah. And I always
Enoch,
go,
I think his name is.
She goes to this library and meets Harry, and he's showing her around, and there's busts in the library, and I'm pretty sure I'm only seeing the busts of old white men.
Yeah, a strange thing about future space. Kind of has the same old tropes we got here.
And I'm seeing these disparities. I mean, this library is posh. It is lush. Like, I would live there. It's well appointed. And I'm realizing at about this point in the show that I like sci-fi, like Star Trek, where it's this beautiful future where almost everything is egalitarian, and there's a few bad eggs that you can usually handle over the course of 45 minutes.
Yeah, this is kind of the opposite depiction of that, right?
This is awful.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
We have Imperial cloning.
Right.
There's definitely a big late stage capitalist energy.
It seems like we'll be spending most of our time on the
Terminus.
right, the outer edge.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious what day-to-day life would be in the Imperium.
I am too.
It still doesn't look great. A lot of commuting. A lot of levels to get between. Doesn't seem great.
Yeah, there's definitely some shots that feel a little steeragey. Belly of the ship.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where Leo and his grimy Irish pals hang out.
Right. We should probably get to the crux of the problem here when she meets Harry.
Yes, she's won a contest. The two people that can solve this nearly impossible mathematical challenge happen to be living in the same lifetime, same generation.
Yeah.
They're like what, 20, 30 years apart in age. Weird odds.
I agree. We may be lending too much power to Callie. You know, there's plenty of other poets, but
she might have been obscure.
Yeah.
An obscure 16th century poet wrote a crippling math problem. And most of the people that are even reading this obscure poetry are not mathematicians. So maybe,
like a profound math problem in poetry that lasted 500 years.
Maybe everyone knew that this poem by Callie was a mathematical challenge, but no one could solve it.
Okay. I mean, I know we're really in the weeds here, but it's just like...
Yeah, I'm kind of counting on this.
It's just the contest. Okay, I think if we were going to say anything about this, let's say it briefly. It's that the contest is convoluted. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense under scrutiny, but that's probably intentional for the sake of the story. So then we meet
Cleon,
the Imperial clones.
The Imperial clones.
Cleon the First.
No.
Well, that's who they're based on.
Yeah. We have 11, 12 and 13.
Yeah. Dawn, day, and dusk.
So the idea is you decant yourself every, 30 years?
Yeah.
And then you always have a best friend to take care of you. And you can brush their hair and they can brush your hair. And, you know what they say, happy emperor, happy everybody everywhere. So.
Is there a hairbrushing scene?
No.
I might have missed that.
No. Not yet.
Okay.
I'm sure there will be.
Wait, was that Demesriel?
She's the one who brushes hair.
Then we meet Master Orleo, the mural painter. I really thought he was going to be my favorite character.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. As a painter.
Yeah, you do that.
Right.
This guy's a painter.
Oh, you know what? Those paintings seemed very Alex Gray inspired.
I could see it a little bit in retrospect. It didn't strike me in the moment.
Maybe upon further watches.
Upon further review.
Yeah. Anacreon and Thespius.
Yeah, we got some outer planets having a bit of a skirmish over an asteroid.
The feuding.
Yeah, some Imperial guards died in the crossfire, and so now the Imperial clones care. So they're ostensibly trying to make peace between these two and also demonstrate that they are very powerful. They present these beautiful symbolic gifts. Day later explains what the symbolism behind these means to Dawn, which was nice for me as a viewer.
Yeah, what a handy way to deliver.
Explain it to me like I'm 5, except for don't insult me.
Yeah.
Explain it to the 5-year-old. Huh?
Beautiful. Math is more than just numbers.
He also says we're about to get arrested.
Yeah. There's a non-zero chance that we're going to get arrested.
They're going to be arrested because Harry has used mathematics to predict the downfall of the Empire. Apparently predictions are dangerous.
Right. Psychohistory.
The Empire is concerned that the followers of psychohistory will bring about the downfall of the Empire.
Is that true? Do they make that?
They don't straight up say that. But
okay.
The reason
I don't mean to call you out or anything.
The reason a government entity would shut down the ideas of a radical is because they fear the actions of their followers.
Yeah.
If they didn't think that the Seldonites would rouse rabble, they would be like, cool, yeah, believe in the end of the world if you want. Like no one was no one was trying to shut down people that were like, world's gonna end December 21st, 2012. They were like, cool, believe that.
But yet psychohistory is not only like course, but an entire field of academia at the college that he is a professor.
So you're saying the field is accepted even if his personal calculations are not?
Yeah, I guess maybe that. Yeah, I didn't intend to say that, but I guess I did.
Nailed it.
Yes, I did.
Nailed it. So,
how do you feel about psychohistory? Can we? We don't have to include it if you don't want to, but psychohistory.
I think I might understand why they chose to call it that better if I read the book.
As I was saying it, I was looking at the book in front of us, and I was like, "Oh, right, it's Isaac Asimov. It's who wrote Ubik?
Philip K. Dick.
It's just like a thing that those older authors did. Like you just mush two words together, and it's like, bam, it's a thing."
Yeah, you're right. That whole like 50s and 60s era.
Because it's psychology and history, so you just call it psychohistory. Boom. Now I can predict the future.
But if it's for predicting the future, why is it called psychohistory?
Because if you don't learn from the past, then you're... I don't know the fuck what. You're forever meant to repeat your mistakes.
I guess.
So we get to the trial. Harry explains his prophecy through the interrogator's questions. And we learn that the Imperium is at risk of collapse.
Mm-hmm. Well, then why would you even tell us this if there's nothing we can do to prevent it?
Well, he can soften the blow.
Yeah, so the Empire, the Imperium says he's just trying to destroy public confidence. And he's like, no, I'm trying to get us ready. We got to be ready. Gail meets up with Gerald, her old buddy,
That was that's when he brings her the
In-
Prime Radiant.
the prison garden, the massive, gorgeous prison with waterfalls and benches.
Right. It's like, who is it? Norway or Sweden, where it's like you just check in.
Oh, the actual first world countries.
Right.
Yeah.
You just check back into jail at night, or
Yeah. It's very weird and it's gorgeous. Okay. So Gerald's like, haha, I was a secret agent all along.
Right.
It's like, oh,
I'm Slugworth.
were you?
Congratulations.
You were Slugworth.
You didn't give me the gobstopper. You get to move on to the final round.
No, he gives her the gobstopper to see what she'll do with it. He gives her the
Okay. Yeah.
Prime Radiant.
Yeah.
And he basically says you have two options. You can say that his calculations are whack, or because they are, or you can run and like never come back and disappear.
No,
If they're
the
true.
calculations aren't whack.
No, if the calculations are whack, you can be like, that guy is whack.
Right, but
But
they're
if
not.
the calculations
Okay.
are right, yeah, and he doesn't know that. He doesn't speak math.
Yeah.
There's two people who speak math, okay?
Yeah.
Harry and Gail.
It's not Rach, and it's not
No,
Gerald.
right.
So back to the trial.
Yeah, back to the trial.
It's her turn to weigh in.
What Harry wants to do to, soften the fall.
Right, build a compendium of knowledge, the foundation.
Decentralized.
Did you love it? Did you love hearing the name of the show in the show?
We hear it a few times.
We made a joke
A
about this.
foundation.
We made a joke about this on another podcast where there's a line in Saving Private Ryan where the guy goes, well, I guess Saving Private Ryan's the only good thing that's going to come out of this. And now is Gail's opportunity to talk about what she knows about his calculations.
The advocate, the one who's doing the prosecuting here, starts
Oh.
off with some very
It's,
awkwardly personal questions.
It's Bashir from Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
He played the doctor on Deep Space Nine.
Well, he is not nice to Gail. All up in her business about her like family and her religion and her stones.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good lawyer, right?
Yeah, get your witness all rattled. Guess what? It did not work. Gail is used to being the outcast.
So she explains that the proofs are correct. They can't get rid of Harry.
But then she looks up at the sky and she goes, something's wrong with the star bridge. We don't see it. We don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Does she
Yeah.
have some kind
Well,
of
we see-
premonition?
We see the guy sneaking in to do whatever nefarious thing
Right,
there
but when
is.
she looks up, we don't see anything from where she is.
No, I just mean we cut
Yeah.
away, and I was like, okay, where's the bomb gonna be? Is it gonna be like they crack two molars together, and then there's an explode? You know, like I feel like we've seen this in television or movies before, where like the, you know, it's like under the fingernail, and it's like you mix two chemicals together, and all of a sudden you can blow up an entire station.
The cup of noodles,
Yeah,
the umbrella tip. What's it gonna be?
yeah.
Were you excited or disappointed when it was in the wrist?
I thought it was pretty weak.
Okay.
Like, how do
Okay.
you know, there's no scanners. They can't see little bombs and wrist bombs. Come on. We have wrist bomb scanning technology by now. So it blows up and tears through 50 levels of the planet.
And then the Emperor has to deal with the fallout, and he is furious. He calls those planetary representatives back, and he says, shut up, I'm returning your gifts.
He suspects one or two or the both of them.
Yeah, they were war crying things from the outer reaches, apparently. Even though it was just one guy that said something. Sounds a little interesting. Sounds like there's maybe some spin. This is a like welcome distraction for Gail because Rach comes in and is like, everything's different now. He says recant. He's like, don't tell him you were wrong and you change your mind. The math is not right.
Right. But she doubles down instead. Tells the Emperor killing Harry will accelerate the downfall.
Yeah, so he brings him back in front of them, and she's
They end up getting what they wanted all along, which is exile.
what Harry wanted all along. So
They're exiled away to Terminus.
Demetrius,
Oh,
Demezriel, yeah, she's the one who delivers the
Because
sentence.
it's all behind closed doors. Like, nobody needs to know about this publicly.
Jay was standing right behind her, though. It was very weird.
Oh, maybe he was still pissed about the line earlier where Harry was like, "You can't stop your deaths, but you can protect your legacy.
Yeah.
He's pissed. Like, I don't want to talk to him, Demezril. You go tell him.
You tell Harry that I said
878-day trip.
no jump technology.
So right before we get to 35 years later at Terminus, we get a line where he says something like,
"This isn't the Foundation's first crisis, and it won't be our last."
Something tells me you already know what the next crisis will be.
I love the way that scene plays out, because it feels the way like the way older television show pilots used to set themselves up. You would have the inciting incident in that first episode, and you would think you're figuring out, okay, we're going to be solving this problem over the course of 10 or 12 episodes or whatever, right? But in fact, you don't solve any of that. It's just like background problems.
It's all mini quests.
Right.
Side quests.
Like, for instance, Gilligan's Island. The pilot, they get lost on an island. Then they never get off the island for like the rest of the show. It's never about getting back home. It's about the internal strife of living on an island.
Yeah.
Or Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like Star Trek Voyager.
So, yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah, Star Trek's my example of the episodic, Janeway's crew and Voyager gets lost in completely wrong quadrant.
Yeah. We need to get back home, but, we have some learning to do along the way.
Right. Aw. There's interpersonal conflicts.
Exactly.
There are intercultural conflicts.
Right. Stargate, that's another one that did that.
They're giving you these bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
I wish I felt your enthusiasm. I did not get that read.
So 35 years later, we're back on Terminus. And that's not Gail.
No, that's not Gail. I felt...
The warden is not Gail.
I felt silly for thinking the warden was Gail in retrospect. Gail is doing the voiceover and names the warden as Salvo Hardin, who's an outlier.
An outlier like
Because
Salvo Hardin.
Yeah, able to walk directly up to the vault.
Right.
And find something inside. And that was what Harry Seldon feared the most.
Potentially.
Question mark?
We'll find out. Maybe. Or maybe we'll just go on another side quest that has nothing to do with the vault at all, or the Foundation.
I really hope you're right, because I love the side quest setup.
Yeah. It's encapsulating problems in a vacuum.
Yes.
It makes them timeless.
The
and
monster of the
relatable.
week approach. Yeah, that is... There's something so comforting about that model to me, and that's why I can't watch the new Star Treks. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. There's too much about... It's about blowing things up. Like, Star Trek was never about the phasers or the jump drive or any of the technology.
Or a week-to-week same storyline, same fight with the same Klingons. Like,
yeah.
No, it was, yes, the Klingons popped up here and there, or yes, other species had conflicts that were ongoing, but it wasn't the same guy facing off the same guy every other episode. It just gets... I mean, don't even get me started on Picard.
Same, yeah, exactly. Imagine if you had to deal with the Ferengi every week. No, just some weeks. And you learn from them and you move on.
All right, well, we better wrap this up. This isn't a Star Trek podcast. Look out for that. So sub if you want to see the Star Trek podcast.
You can vote on which series we start with.
But
you can be mean or nice.
Yeah.
Huh?
Until then, we'll see you at episode 2.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Let us
for
know
watching.
how we did, what you want more of, what you want less of. Don't drop that. It's so loud.
Bye.
Bye.